What was that last night? That was truly embarrassing. Real Madrid drew 1-1 with Al Hilal in their opening game of the Club World Cup. So here are my thoughts. First of all, let's not be too quick to throw Xabi Alonso under the metaphorical bus because it is his first game in charge and he's only had a handful of training sessions, even fewer with all of his first team players. And even then, he's still got numerous players out injured. So we can't be too harsh. And Thibaut Courtois summed it up quite nicely after the game when he said that they've learnt several habits under Carlo Ancelotti and it's going to take some time to undo that. It's going to take some time. And what he was really talking about is getting used to the new manager's way of playing. And that was evident in what we saw yesterday. I thought that there were some positives, believe it or not, but the majority was quite negative. So I'll get the positives out of the way first of all. The players that I felt performed well were Tchouaméni. I thought that he was very, very good in the tackling side of the game, but this is quite common. This is what we expect from him in this position. I thought that Rodrigo started quite well but faded, and there's not much else besides. I thought Dean Howson was good. He was clearly trying to affect the game, wasn't he? He was clearly trying to play those passes, and yes, they didn't always come off, but it's a sign of things to come, and I would encourage him to keep on doing that. Right, on to the negatives. Number one, the system. It's the same tired 4-3-3. And I do believe that this system is the best system that we could play. I just don't think we have the personnel for it. Or if we do, then we need to make serious changes. Number one, Rodrigo still looks ineffective. Although he had a better game, like I said before, in the first half particularly, I do think that he faded quite badly and he just doesn't look like a world beater from that right-hand side. Whenever he picks up the ball, it's not the same fear feeling that you get when Mohamed Salah picks up the ball or Lamine Yamal. Those are the kind of players that strike fear into the opponents and we just don't have that. Number two, and this is a big one, Vinicius Jr. What is this guy actually contributing to this team? He's had a shocking season, and I genuinely think that this all comes down to his failure to get the Ballon d'Or. I think he throws his toys out the pram far too often, and I think he's overly petulant. This is a guy who claims that his idol is Cristiano Ronaldo, but let's be honest, he couldn't even lace Ronaldo's boots. And this is a guy who almost won a Ballon d'Or if it weren't for Rodri. But he doesn't come close, because Ronaldo guaranteed you 40, 50 goals a season. What's Vinicius getting on a good year? 20? 30 at a push? Is that anywhere near what Ronaldo or Messi were getting? And yes, those two were superhuman, but for him to even consider himself in the same realm is completely misguided. I think that we need to make a decision with Vinicius Jr. If we're going to stick to him, we need to demand a heck of a lot more than what we're getting, because we are not getting anything close to a package that can threaten the opposition. All you see are misplaced passes. He ignores Fran every time that Fran runs past him to create an overlap. His shots are tame at best. Most of the time he's passing the ball back to the goalkeeper. It's really pathetic. A 9-year-old girl could play a better shot than Vinicius Jr. It's just so embarrassing. And then you've got some other players in the team. Trent, I thought, was quite quiet in his debut. He clearly tried to invert, and maybe the other players on the pitch weren't familiar with that style and they didn't know how to adapt accordingly. I thought Bellingham was quiet. Valverde, another player. Yes, he missed the penalty. He should not take penalties, by the way. That was awful. But more to the point, I just don't see what he contributes besides hard work. And is that enough for Real Madrid? This might seem overly harsh, but really think about it. What does he contribute aside from a couple of world-class goals every now and again? Because these aren't consistent, by the way. This is one every 10 games, one every 15 games. But this is the same kind of thing that you might get from a Rodrigo, for instance, and we throw him under the bus all the time. So what is he giving us besides covering every blade of grass? Because let's be honest, Pedri does that, Fabian Ruiz does that, Vitinha does that, but they're also able to play through balls, they're also able to orchestrate the play, control the tempo. Do you see what I'm getting at? In terms of a modern midfielder, I don't think he comes close. I think that if he played in a different team, let's say for example he played for Juventus, I think that you'd put a price tag on him about 50, 60 million and no one would bat an eyelid. I don't think he comes close to the reported 100 plus that he's supposedly worth. Now, admittedly, most of the time this is due to the Real Madrid tax, so it's not his fault. But I really do think that there is a conversation to be had because this team feels limited in what it can do. And yes, Xabi Alonso may be able to coach them into something which resembles a competitive side. But I really think we've got an issue with personnel at this point. There are lots of positions that need strengthening. Also, by the way, Asensio, I know that he wasn't 100%. This is Xabi Alonso digging him out of a hole. But this guy is not fit to start for Real Madrid. Yes, have him as your third centre-back or your fourth centre-back. He's a great squad player, okay, in the same way that Nacho was. But that level of immaturity to put your hands on the opponent when he's in the box right in front of the referee is laughable. And it does not belong in elite football. There are so many positions that I could talk about, but this video would go on for 10 years. I thought it was a shocking display. I thought that the players didn't try overly hard, and maybe it's because of the conditions, but they're the same conditions that all the other teams are playing in. They're the same conditions that Al Hilal played in, and Al Hilal played us off the park, particularly in the opening half an hour. And even then, when you think about people's match report and you say Real Madrid edged it in the second half, Real Madrid edged it against Al Hilal. Look at what Bayern Munich did to their opponents the other day, stuck 10 past them. This is what we should be doing to this opposition. And we're not, but there's a reason. It's because we do not play football. We've got a bunch of individuals and they're not pulling their weight, and it shows, and it's embarrassing to watch. We really need some changes, and if that comes in the form of big sales this summer, so be it. Genuinely shocking performance. Not sure about you guys. Sorry for the rant, but it's got to be done. I hope that you enjoyed today's video. If you did enjoy the content, please consider subscribing to the channel. Take care.